this video, we are going to be not whispering. We are going to be multiplying and dividing numbers in scientific notation. So if you like step-by-step processes, we've got one for you with 3 steps. The first one's the most, they're all important. Never mind. Who am I kidding? So we're going to start, if we want to multiply two numbers in scientific notation, we're basically just multiplying the number, the a values, and multiplying the 10 part. Multiplying, these are going to be multiplying exponentials. Exponentials with the same base. We got the product rule. It's all coming full circle. We're using stuff from earlier in the week. Okay. So that's step 1. And then we'll simplify using the previous material. And then the last step, be very careful that we're still in scientific notation. I'll show you what I mean by that later. This last step will be a little sneaky one, but I'll mention where that pops up. Let's do example 6.18, okay? Example 6.18. Let's multiply these. 3.4 times 10 to the 5th times 2.7 times 10 to the negative 2nd. So this is multiplied by multiplied by multiply. There's no addition. Everything's getting multiplied. So we can multiply in any order because there's no addition or anything. So we don't have to worry about order of operations here. So we're going to choose to multiply these things first. 3.4 times 2.7. And then, right, we'll multiply 10 to the 5th and 10 to the negative 2nd. We can multiply in any order as long as there's no other things happening. So you use a calculator to multiply 3.4 times 2.7, because I don't know what that is. 3.4 times 2.7 is going to be 9.18. Okay, so that's 9.18. And then we'll multiply these two together. Same bases, different exponents, add the exponents. 5 plus negative 2 is 5 minus 2 is 3. So this was step 1. This was step 2. My head's blocking you. And step 3 is make sure this is in scientific notation. So is it in scientific notation? Yep, this is a number between 1 and 10. It's 9, about, times 10 to an exponent. Yeah, it's still in scientific notation. What a silly step. Step 3 is silly, Jason. We'll get there eventually. We'll get there in, not the next example, but the one after that. Let's do example 6.19. Okay, so divide and write your answer in scientific notation. 5.32 times 10 to the 4th divided by 1.9 times 10 to the negative 3. Just like before, divide the a values and then divide the scientific part. That's not the technical term. We'll divide the 10 parts. Also not the technical term, but it gets the idea across. Right, so this is going to be 5.32 divided by 1.9 times 10 to the 4th divided by 10 cubed. 10 to the negative cubed. 10 to the negative 3rd power. So again, we go and get a calculator and say, calculator, where are you? Go and get a calculator and we say, what's 5.32 divided by 1.9? And our calculator says 2.8. Sometimes it won't be an exact answer and you'll have to round. So 2.8 times, we get to use the quotient rule. I'm back to whispering. Subtract 4 and negative 3. 4 minus negative 3. Right, that's 4 plus 3, that's 7. Okay. That's our answer here. Oh, that was step 2. I didn't do step 3 yet. Step 3 said make sure it's in scientific notation. Yep, it's in scientific notation. This number's between 1 and 10. It's 2.8. And we got the 10 part working just great. Okay. You might say, Jason, we've done 2 problems yet so far. We haven't used step 3. Where's step 3 coming? Don't worry, be patient. Step 3's a coming in the 3rd problem. All right, last one. Oh, it's not the last one. Penultimate one. Penultimate. Example 6.20. Multiply and write your answer in scientific notation. 6.7 times 10 to the negative 6 times 5.2 times 10 to the negative 3. Let's multiply these number parts. This is 6.7 times 5.2. And then we're going to multiply the exponential parts. Just like before. And we're going to go over here and we're going to use a calculator again and say, all right, calculator, what is 6.7 times 5.2? And your calculator says, why, that's 34.84. And then add the exponents together and we get 10 to the negative 9. Eventually, I will not be writing on paper. I will have an actual tablet. Have patience, as I am having patience with our IT department. We're not done. This isn't our final answer. This is not in scientific notation. This A value is not between 1 and 10. It's 34, almost 35. So we got to scientificify it. Scientific notationify it. We want the answer to be 3.484. We want that decimal to move 1 over. If this decimal moves 1 over, then we have the actual answer. And the question becomes, okay, to move that decimal place 1 to the left, does that make, is this making it negative 10 or does that turn it into negative 9? Well, this is a bigger number. We're moving it to the left. We're adding 1. Okay. So adding 1 over here is negative 8. And if you're ever unsure, kind of just go back to maybe a smaller example. Like maybe go off to the side and say, okay, how do I write 34.84 in scientific notation? Well, it's 3.484 times 10 to the first power. So we're really just adding 10 to the first, this 1 exponent, and then negative 9. Add those together and you get negative 8. So if it's not in scientific notation, you don't know which way to move that, go off to the side. We're adding 1. We'll do one more example. 621. Oh no, I don't want to use a new paper for one example. Can I find? Okay, we're getting wild over here now to save one sheet of paper. Yeah, this is very worth it. Good job, Jason. Example 6.21. 2.352 times 10 to the negative 6 divided by 8.4 times 10 to the negative 2. So we start by dividing the A values. So 2.352 divided by 8.4 is going to be 0.28. Next, we subtract the exponents. Quotient rule. Negative 6 minus negative 2. That's negative 6 plus 2. You can use a calculator. It's negative 4. But step 3 is coming again, because this is not the final answer. This is not in scientific notation. Scientific notation would be 2.8 times 10 to the something. And again, the question becomes, which way do we move it? Well, and the answer is, well, just look at it. If we wanted to write 0.28 in scientific notation, we'd have 2.8 times 10 to the negative first. Okay, so we need to subtract 1. Becomes a negative fifth like this. Okay, now it's in scientific notation. Step 3 is done. The paper has been saved. It's a little thing sometimes. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I've got some good homework questions coming in this week. Keep them coming for next week. Preferably, the earlier you start, the easier it is for me to answer questions. I do love answering questions Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Nope, that's a lie. I don't. Tuesdays, a much better day to answer questions. So the earlier, I realize the irony in me saying this in the last video, because it's the last video. Anyway, good luck. Don't be a stranger. You have a professor. We can talk, actually. You're not just watching random YouTube videos. Okay, so reach out. Good luck.